Hello, I am the Reverend Godfather, aka the Martinsburg Madman, and I am the main host and front person for the Long Coat Mafia podcast, aka the internet's most hated mafia-themed geek podcast. Links to our audio content and our social media are down in the description. And after close to 3 years, I finally got this. This video that you're watching now is not me unboxing and reacting to its contents. It is the story behind the contents. Let me just say that everything I'll say in this video is my opinion on how this company burned me from the start, so to speak, lead up to it. If you, dear viewer, choose to deal with them on a professional or a consumer level, that is your choice. On my end, again, I will not be dealing with them, period, ever, on a consumer or even on a professional level. This video is to show context for that. In this video, we'll cover the history and context of why I backed this product on Kickstarter, the campaign, what kind of happened during the campaign, and the aftermath and drama that followed with that. So, because this video might be long, that's why we're doing this first, then we'll do the second part. So, that being said, history and context to why I backed that. Late 2020, early 2021. I should say even before that, I was always interested in trying to get into Dungeons and Dragons as a whole. For a good many years, didn't know where to begin, didn't know where to start. The usual newbie person in regards to Dungeons and Dragons. And it wasn't until a couple of folks I met through Facebook and one of the what's happening in insert county or town here, I found a wonderful group that helped me start my Dungeons and Dragons journey. And with this wonderful group, I jumped into this hobby, into the community, feet first, wholeheartedly. I got a lot of the standard stuff that year. I got the core books, including some of the expanded books, like Tasha's Guide to Everything, the usual stuff. Including, which one is it? This one right here, which came out, I think, within a year or two ago. And it's the Monsters of the Multiverse. And I enjoyed this little addition to the core set. Now, as stated, since that journey, I got like the core books, and I got other things like the standard stuff. I got 3D minis, I got 2D minis, heck, I even got stuff like this. And due to the updated version and the misprints, I got this on a discount. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure a lot of you, if you watch this and this video does go viral, you'd probably say, Madman, congratulations. You're hitting a lot of the check marks so far. You got the core books. Heck, you got a couple of the extra stuff. Heck, you got an independent campaign on the cheap. Heck, I even got a butt ton of dice. Yes, I'm using Crown Royal bag for all my dice. Yell at me in the comment section below. Heck, I even picked up a bunch of one-shots that were wondrous. That came with maps, skinny minis, or should I say 2D minis. Plus, I backed a whole mess of other Kickstarters that gave me stuff that I was interested in, like Adventures Awaits. Even though there was some drama around this and some delay, I still am enjoying this, and those in my group also enjoy the campaigns in this book. And plus, I picked up and got this weighted monstrosity recently as well, and I have to get into this soon. I can't wait to look through this, but this was a Kickstarter as well. I say that because all that is context. And one of the things a lot of this I backed in 2021. This was a mid 2022 Kickstarter backing. This was a mid to late 2021 campaign, when I was deep into getting a lot of the Kickstarters, or backing a lot of Kickstarters. This was put in roughly the same time as this. And roughly about the time I put in this. Now, what is this supposed to be? This is Spidermind Games, or it will be. When I open up, I'll show it to you. I'm not unboxing it here. See the next video for that. At the time this Kickstarter came in, I was playing, or starting to play, a Dragonborn. And heck, let me say this. You just heard the context of me becoming and being a Dungeons and Dragons player. And as you see, I have a lot of the standard stuff that most people who play Dungeons and Dragons tends to have. Now let's get into why I backed this and the campaign. Why I backed this and the campaign. As stated, about this time in 2021, I was playing a Dragonborn, or starting to play a Dragonborn. It was going to be a fighter though, and I was thinking of maybe switching up its class to maybe a cleric or a paladin. First time playing any of those types of characters. I still have yet to play a paladin. And on Facebook, during July, which we're coming out, according to this, we're coming very close to July right now, I started seeing adverts from Spidermind Games promoting these dice that are in this box. And what were the dice? They were Dragon's Eye dice, meaning they were going to have a little in the dice. Your average, they were going to be average size dice. Pull one out of here. They were average size dice like this. Yeah, this is a D12, it looks like. They're average size dice, and they were going to have a Dragon's Eye in the center. I was like, cool. If I'm playing a Dragonborn, Paladin, or a Cleric, it would be great to have Dragon's Eye dice to use to correspond with that character. And as I read more, or I could say the dice I was using, to kind of how work the dice as part of my character. And I know, again, a lot of you out there would say, Godfather, congratulations, you once again are checking a lot of box for being a Dungeons and Dragons player. Working with props with your character, hey, that's par for the course. And I thank you for all of you that might say that. And the ads were saying that they'll come in several colors, like black, blue, red, green, and clear. There was going to be a couple of colors. I was getting hyped for this campaign. That's what the advertising was meant to do. Get you hyped for that campaign. And I was like, yes, yes. Now, I'm going to see if I could get this as close until that train starts to come by before I have to pause this video for all of you. You know what? I'm going to pause this video for a few minutes and let that train pass. Again, sorry for that delay. It seems like it was going further the other direction or using one of the other tracks. Now, as I was saying, these adverts were promoting it more and more. And one of the adverts was saying that, hey, if you back this campaign and within the first 24 to 48 hours, you are going to get see if I can pull an example out of here. You're going to get a D20 that is classified as a goddess style D20. Pretty much a clear D20 with the dragon's eye in the center, and it will have like glitter. I was like, yes, that would make things in regards to my character, my Dragonborn, even more special. And again, work at least that D20 into the character. Hey, I'm a paladin, gotta speak to my patron. Let's roll this Dragon's Eye, Goddess Dragon's Eye D20 to see if she or he accepts. Again, a lot of you might say, hey, Godfather, that's par for the course. And I thank you. So, it dropped, the campaign dropped early August 2021. And I was one of the first backers within that first 24 to 48 hours, solidifying that special D20. This, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewer, is not that dice. I'm just using this as an example. And I backed for 2 sets of dice. I wasn't really sure which colors to get. It was going to be either black and blue or black and red. The campaign went as scheduled because it is what it was. There were a lot of I wouldn't say folks. There were a lot of companies that were centered in China, or a lot of companies that were using the photos from this campaign to advertise knockoffs. For every one of these knockoff or these companies or these scammers that popped up promoting, hey, we have these Dragon's Eye dice that we're selling, X, Y, and Z, that we were reporting to Spidermind Games, 5 more would pop up. Meaning, if we take down 1, 5 others would pop up. And some of these knockoff companies were actually using, they would be like dungeon dice. And yet, the photos that they were using would have Spidermind Games on the photos. Now, about midway, close to almost the last week of the campaign, they Spidermind, told everybody that because they were getting a lot of questions and a lot of requests in regards to the goddess style dice, that they were adding one other set to the dice that you could get as an add-on, and that is you could get a full set of Goddess Dragon's Eye dice. And I stated to myself, hey, let me do the math at the end of this campaign. If I have enough money, I'll get this add-on. And sure enough, at the end of the campaign, I did. Now, to rewind it back about a week, now getting even closer to the deadline, Spidermind decided to piss off a lot of the backers of this campaign. How did they manage to do that? Well, as this campaign started to wind down, I'd say within that last week to, I'd say at the latest 4 days prior to this campaign ending, they came out, again, Spidermind, came out and said, because this campaign is becoming such a success, everybody that has backed this campaign will get the special Goddess style D20 in their order. Meaning if you backed one or the whole 7, every one of those will have the Goddess style D20 in that set. A lot of the early backers got mad. I didn't, because I didn't know if I just made it under that wire. So I figured, hey, whether I made it under that wire or not, I was getting that D20. Now, that pretty much handles the campaign. Because once it ended, I chose, I think, the black, the red, and I had the Goddess style as my add-on. Now, let's get into the aftermath. The aftermath. Everybody started waiting to see how long it would take. Like a lot of Kickstarters. Let's take this for example. A lot of them don't really get, meaning this, the Dark Tower set, and a lot of you who have backed Kickstarters will tell you that a lot of times you're not, if they promise you it, if you back something in June or July and they say this will be in your hands in March, a lot of times it's not going to happen in March. There are some instances where it will, but I'd say about 8 out of 10 it will not. And this, when that date, I think the promissory time that we were told on the campaign on Kickstarter was that March, meaning the campaign ended in September, early September, and with the arrival date of the dice getting into everybody's hand in March, if not April, the latest. March and April 2022 came and went, but earlier that year, early 2022, like January, February, we were getting word that a lot of the colors that they finally made a test run of dice. A lot of the samples that they were coming back, the colors were too dark, too light, various things. Meaning sample would come by, it was too dark, you couldn't see the eyes in it, or when they came back, what would have been black was still only a tint of black. Not to mention, the eye inside the dice was off. They had to use a different method and go with a different company. And which worried a lot of people. Me, not so much. I figured, heck, fine, do what you gotta do. Remember, these are my opinions. And this is where a lot of the drama starts as well. Come later that year, I want to say September that year. It was almost a year. It might have been at PAX, it might have been at Gen Con, one of these tabletop tabletop role-playing game conventions. Spidermind was there showing off some, I think, sample runs that they had. These were not ready dice, but they were telling, I think they were, at that time, they were telling the backers like myself that the dice were in production. And a lot of the folks that were at the convention that saw the samples sitting, the pre-land boxes, and everything on the table for Spidermind, were saying they had opinions of too dark, too light, something didn't seem right with the dice, and they were sharing photos to the Facebook group in regards to the Dragon Eye dice. And this is where some can say, and again, some could say and allege that Spidermind decided to, or started to flip-flop or give excuses about the dice that were being offered. They were saying stuff like the cameras on the phones that were being used were of bad quality. Meaning at the time, hey, the cameras on the phone that were used to take the photos were probably 2 megapixels or less. And they were also saying, like, along the lines of the light in the convention center was too low, or was too bright, or the light didn't serve the dice any justice. It was that or the combination of bad camera. And again, this is where more and more people started to worry about this campaign. Now, the end of 2022 came and went. The start of 2023 started to happen, and we were starting to get word that shipment to the rest of the world will be happening shortly. Things are coming together. Everything is almost done. Rest of the world will be getting theirs. Then late May, early June hit. And this is where countries like Australia, New Zealand, and I think Europe were getting theirs at this time. And oh my God, what a fit foe. The dice that were out of every 10 posts to the group that came in, if they were lucky, one would be perfect. I mean, one complete set would be perfect out of 10. They were, every single one, the eyes would be off, the color would be off. The ones that were clear, like I said, the colors being offered were black, red, blue, green, and clear. I'm not including the goddess color in all this. The folks that ordered the clear were saying that the clear dice were either smoky or yellowed in some way, which could be a little bit of an issue. And with the dice, the eyes in the dice were being a little, not just a little off, a lot off. Meaning where the dice in the main part of the eye would be in the right underneath the 20 of the D20. It'd be showing up at like the D11. People, again, were pissed. They were like, how'd you let this? This was supposed to be, dead center technology. Everything was on the package. Why aren't these centered? Was there any quality control? And Spidermind at this time, I believe, came out and said, don't worry, a lot of the dice is only 1% off. And somebody came up in the comment section replying to Spidermind Games in regards to being 1% off. And that person said, I'm a machinist. Your dice are of average size. About what I have in my hand right now. And that person said, a 1% deviation on something this small is not acceptable. As a machinist, the acceptable parameter or the acceptable percentage should be something like 0.01%, not 1%. And a lot of what some have said white knights are like, this, that, and the other thing. But more and more people were saying that they were getting bad quality dice. Photos were coming in left and right of dice that were slightly off, that were, even by my standards, would be acceptable, and which we'll see after this video. But a lot were not acceptable, even by my standards. I wouldn't have allowed it. I would have sent them in. And by when, I'd say, July, August was rolling around last year, 2023, they were saying the Americas, meaning North Canada, United States, and South America, would be getting theirs in August. So I figured if I got my set of dice, this, in my hands by the end of August 2023, I will bring this box with me to 4-State Comic-Con and open this box at 4-State and have the folks at 4-State Comic-Con give these a look-see and have everybody rate the dice and rate the quality of the dice when I open it. So it wouldn't have been my reaction to the dice. It would have been anybody who came by the table and saw the dice and saw me doing an unboxing. I would have loved to do that then. But the end of August came and went. Turns out, by about mid-August, early September, the boat that was coming from China was slowly moving to Portland, Oregon. That's where the port these dice were coming from. Now, like I said, loads and loads of drama. We were waiting with bated nails. By I think mid-September, I want to say, they finally arrived, if not early October. That's when Spidermind Games said, we are going to do a quality control check. October came and went without any news. Nada. During this time, posts from, or updates from Spidermind Games were few and far between. You'd expect a lot of updates, especially with the issues that they've been having. Nope. Did we get word in regards to how the quality control was happening? Nope. Turns out a lot of the dice that they inspected were bad. More than 50% of the dice were bad. And still, even more were yellowed and not of perfect quality. So they had to go with yet another company from China to redo the remaining dice and sent them out. Now, let's step it back to September. August, September. During this time, Gen Con happened. And at Gen Con, they had several crates of various colors of their dice. perfect dead center dice at this convention to show off, not just to show off to the attendees. They had, because I can't forget to talk about this. They had several, from what I remember and was told in the Facebook group, they had several boxes of these, like several boxes of red, blue, black, the Queen's Eye, the clear. And at this, not just so, they said, hey, if you see us at, at Gen Con, we'll have these boxes for, we went to, instead of saving those boxes for the backers that still needed their orders, they claimed these were extras. That, number one, these were extras. They went through all the boxes, pulled out the ones that were perfect to bring to them, with them to Gen Con, to show to the world. Turns out they were also selling them at Gen Con. And many people who are backers and went to Gen Con have stated that, I believe all this is still on Facebook, that they saw people that wanted these dice were buying these dice at Gen Con. And some of the photos that were released showing these dice at Gen Con also included the price list saying that these dice would be $70 a pop, United States currency, USD. Now, nothing on that sign said we're only selling these to backers, meaning if I showed up at Gen Con saying, yeah, I backed black and red and the Queen's Eye, I want a set of blue. And I proved that I was a backer and they'd sell it. No, they pretty much were, from what was told and what a lot of people were saying in the group underneath the post, they were selling to everybody and anybody that showed up. To the point that people were so pissed, and the people were going to Gen Con that were able to in the area wanted to confront and ask Spidermind questions. To the point, as from what a lot of people were saying, I think Gen Con is like a 3-day event. By, I think, day 2 or day 3, they were not there. People were saying the booth that Spidermind Games was supposed to be at was gone. No one was at the booth. It was empty. There might have been some trash there, but no one was there. Meaning they got called out on their crap and left. Now, that led to so many questions. October happened. People started waiting. Now, it got closer and closer to the end of... Now, I could be forgetting a lot of stuff. And what a lot of people were saying and coming out and saying is that there were other campaigns on Kickstarter calling out Spidermind Games. What do I mean by this? Meaning, I want to take Goodman Games in regards to this. Put these right here. They would say, I'm not saying Goodman Games is one of these companies, but I'm using them as an example. Company A would say, hey, we're creating this set, this trilogy set. We're including a bunch of dice with these. For X number of dollars, you'll get this, and you'll get a bunch of dice for your special made dice. It turns out the folks that were going to be making those dice were Spidermind Games. And what happened was they lied. Spidermind Games lied. A lot of the companies were saying that they felt duped, lied to, and they were up to including earlier part of this year. These companies were saying that they will refund money for folks who backed the dice portion of the campaign because they felt that they couldn't fulfill their campaign because, well, Spidermind Games, according to them, lied to them and couldn't fulfill their orders. Why? Because, well, the dice that they were trying to fulfill weren't being fulfilled. Now, we heard so many people say that, not so much people, we heard in the group through updates, hey, we're concentrating on certain colors to get to people, and starting with Portland only. We're not sending out the blue sets to people because there were issues with the blue sets. Within 3 days, 4 days, there were posts on the group, the Facebook group, with folks showing off blue dice in like Maine or Vermont or Florida or everywhere else but Portland area. I was getting, or they'd say, hey, we're not doing these dice, we're not doing these colors. And those colors would show up. And I was like, what the hell? They were saying, well, we only have certain colors, X, Y, and Z. And I piped in my 2 cents. Why don't you just send out to the folks, like if the black are fine, send out the black to the folks that ordered, that have black in the list, and put it in like a piece of paper or what have you, saying the other colors that you ordered will be on the way. The reply from that was from Spidermind, one of the folks behind Spidermind Games, pretty much said, we can't do that. The logistics would be too damn much. We would never do that. About a month and a half, 2 months later, whatever full, great, perfect sets we have or near perfect sets we have, we're sending those out first, and whatever else we'll be sending out later. And my reply was, hey, I told you guys to do that 2 months ago, and y'all pretty much bitched at me, saying it was you will never do that. It was a logistical issue. Now, as you've seen in this today, I finally got my order, my pledge today. In the next video, I will be unboxing this video and reacting to this. The reason why I'm doing these videos now, the history and context, is because, in a way, and even I stated in the group, even before making these videos, I was worried because of me being vocal about how Spidermind was treating the backers, not in regards to being quiet, not fulfilling on their promises in a way. Meaning the dice were not perfect, the dice were X, Y, and Z, then giving excuses that I felt that I would never get my dice. And the fact that, hey, you're vocal, you're telling us how much we suck, how much this, that, and other thing, you're not getting your stuff. That's why I'm doing these now. I was worried. Heck, I might get a DMCA or a strike for talking about these dice and the drama and everything else. There's for every bit of drama, everything else, I stated in this video, that's over 20 minutes long, if not close to 30 minutes. I've forgotten. If you were, I'm going to post a link to this video in the to that group. If any of you who backed this product remember some of the drama, some of the issues, put a comment down below. Tell me what I forgot, and I'll do an update video in regards to what all of you have stated and included. in the comment section, because I want to hear from you. Yes, I'm a YouTuber or podcaster YouTuber that only has about 135 total subscribers. But I still want to hear from you about this. There is a reason. It's videos like this why I classify myself as one of the most hated mafia-themed geek podcasts out there. I'm going to get a lot of flack over this by a lot of folks that probably got the perfect stuff. That Spidermind will do no wrong. We'll see how right or wrong in a few minutes in regards to this. So, again, because of all this drama, because of everything in here, in regards to this, if I saw any company offering dice, meaning, hey, buy our book, or buy our set of books, we'll give you a bunch of dice. You know, we'll include, for an extra $1 to your campaign, we'll include a bunch of dice. I'm not backing it. I'm not. The folks that put out Humblewood, this campaign, would I buy? You know, they're going to be doing, if they are already currently have a campaign out for the sequel to Humblewood, I'd buy it when it comes out. Matter of fact, I'd buy more of the error copies to give to friends. Despite the delays with Adventures Await, the one-shot book that I have, would I buy another copy of this? If not more from this gentleman, despite the delays I got from this campaign? Yes, I would. Would I buy, despite how I thought the quality of Dungeon and Box stuff, whether it be their one-shots or their skinny minis, would I buy from them again? Yes. Their skinny minis came on time, or roughly, maybe a little bit late, and the quality was not the best. See the video that we did in regards to this, but for the most part, they fulfilled their promises, and we got what we were supposed to get. But if any of these companies included dice, I'm not backing it. Period. End of story. Why? Spidermind Games. That's why. In a word, two words. Spidermind Games. Will not. Will not. Period. End of story. Because they burned me. If I saw a Kickstarter or Indiegogo for a set of dice, I'm not backing it. I don't care. I don't care if they are a 100% reputable company or individual. I'm not backing it. I'll buy from that person if I saw them at a show. Whether it be a Gen Con, an Awesome Con, a Baltimore Comic Con, a 4-state, whatever. I'd buy from them there. I'm not backing their campaign. Because Spidermind Games. Same thing. Like I said, I'll buy from the companies. Even if it's Goodman Games, I'll buy from them again. I might have my complaints, my gripes, my nitpicks. I will buy from these people again. But I will not back any Kickstarter if they include dice. For the sole fear of how I feel Spidermind Games burned me. And on that note, I am going to put all the stuff away that I showed you. The skinny minis, our dice, and I'm going to get my knife so we could unbox this video and react to it. So, if you made it this far, you like my rant, you like this old man ranting to a cloud, thank you. Leave a like. If you don't like this, and you're one of the white knights or whatever, hit that dislike. I don't care. You don't like it because of the length? I don't care. I had to give out this long video because of it. For that, I'm the Reverend Godfather, aka the Martinsburg Madman, and I'm wearing a jersey. Thank you all.